For a lot of the
Even
folks.
though it's like,
that's what we always
so
say.
show on anyone's logged in.
Well, if they're not here.
Yeah, people.
Yeah,
People.
right. Yes, you do.
So you say.
Her son?
No.
I've had more than one.
You had to
45
Let's see.
had to have been employed in August.
Ooh, this says I have 11 hours of battery
Oh,
life.
we've had different.
Wow.
Is that like you just got a new phone or something?
We got
New computers.
yeah, so now we're in the middle of, this works here, but doesn't work over here, or, oh no, I have to re-sign in. This word.
And just so you know, that 11 hours is great unless you're like me and you have 50 million tabs open. And it seems to drain the battery much faster.
Yeah. They get the.
But when I'm at my desk, it's plugged in, so, because it hooks up to the monitors.
I can say 3 hours, so I live in a town, you shut down.
Lee, look at me printing my name first. Aren't you proud?
Oh, I'm so proud.
I knew you would be.
So all this stuff is in this, and it's just the two laptops, the chargers, and then the speakers.
I have a cord.
Oh, no, yeah, there's enough places, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it was that. Equalizer was that.
You walked into the core assessment, you didn't know?
Yeah.
They should have had.
Thanks.
That is.
Can't work.
See, I would.
We were in the process of working.
I can't wait.
There's a statement that you have to disclose or during in assessments to go check us.
You can think of a better saying than happy camper, let me know. Because
Because
one of them says official taste tester. And
So.
they're for the chihuahuas when we go on the barbecue. Huh?
What are you talking about?
She needs me to embroider.
Oh.
So we got, I bought preemie onesies and sewed off the bottom, so
I'll take it up with the compliance officer.
yes.
Send it over to the staff.
She's only 6 pounds.
Okay, there's that.
She's a little bitty thing.
And you want to click on the back.
Yeah.
This one.
That was 9/6. I was baby in our
So
family.
we don't do 233.
That's not preemie clothes.
That's not.
They sent me
It's
home
like
with-
6 months.
They sent us home with preemie medicine formula, and I was starving.
So.
Oh.
3 things at a time. Counter for us.
I was like constantly
The other
needing.
one, when it's time for us to talk, this is just.
I think was Donovan 9?
For both of you guys to sign.
8?
I redid it clean.
He was about,
Sorry, 36.
Where's my
This is
six?
off, and I just made it
This is-
this- Yeah.
Brother was 10/6.
Yes.
Oh, that's what you did.
Cross that out.
Yeah, it's up under.
Okay.
Italy,
The room.
Article 36, we signed off on last time, but it was all scratched off. Gina straightened it out clean, so I'm just signing it for you to sign. She has a messy one if you want to look at it, that you signed.
It was scratched up.
It was
Hold it up to the light.
It was
see
a
if there's any
scratched up
micro-
version.
Scratched
And I know I'm gonna have to put this all in PDF out there, so I wanted it to be. So anyways, this is the version that you originally signed and then I just.
You know, if I were Nancy Blarney, I'd go over and be.
Yeah, and I changed it to instructional employees throughout. Oh, she's at her office. She's at her office doing, and then she's gonna send it. Yeah.
Are you a quitter? You do one session up there and you move back to it.
I don't have my PCTA. Yeah, I was back there. She's definitely not a quitter.
What are you talking about?
I had to wear your back. No, right back here.
Thank you.
I remember this today.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Melissa.
I have
two.
All right,
Bryant.
you ready?
Always.
Okay, I think you have a proposal for Article 12, 14. I think we have one as well.
See you guys. No, I didn't get that. Yeah, they got it.
This is,
Yes.
this is ours, right?
Mhm.
Let me pass it back there.
Oh, yeah. It's on the.
Yeah.
Oh. Second page. No, we already got, it. we already.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Email it.
Yep.
Okay, so we have ours, we have a second to yours. For article.
They did.
You're right. Okay. So what happened to we get there?
So Leah, it looks like A, B, D, 2, we're all the same. I actually like your E better than ours. But F and G look to be our sticking point. You agree?
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Can I ask a formatting issue? Professional learning is capitalized, but advisory committee, we took off the capitalization. In,
Because we're saying it's advisory committee, not calling it advisory committee.
If it was a school name, a specific one,
for
it would be
advisory committee.
capitalized. Professional learning is a department, so it would be.
And advisory committee wouldn't be?
You would have to say like the,
Professional learning
Advisory
advisory
committee.
committee, the name of it, yeah.
or a specific school advisory committee.
Okay.
One for every school. But you're not specifically pointing out one, you're just saying an advisory committee. I don't think. It's in the, oh, I only did the first page because I got stuck on.
So their age, if it's advertised. Right, yeah. And yeah, and that's what they say.
It's an advisory. So, or advisory committee. I don't know. Can't be like that. Which one? Which one? This one looks more strange. I don't know. The advisory committee, the professional learning department, or advisory committee, or the professional.
I think it, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The professional advisory committee, and it's not 50-50. We don't do 70. Well, our school, right? Those are salary officers. So what we do is, okay, so what would be the overarching? What we can have a nuance of that. I can hold it.
ED is available for trade. And is it, if we do something with those.
Was that group?
They're gonna redo the thing. So that would be in there.
The value of agreement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we need to talk about this. That we need to caucus about this, so we
Okay.
can discuss the
We can
different
go this
languages,
way.
the different approaches. You were there, you said?
No,
No,
we'll
we are gonna
move.
go.
It'll be too hard for you. They're working.
Mm.
You won't be able to talk. Can you caucus without communicating?
I used to teach marching band. I can be loud. I can talk over an entire band playing.
All right, holler when you're ready.
let her.
I did.
You know, it's Florida when she has two sweatshirts on.
This video is not coming back.
There it goes.
There it is.
It just took a minute.
I took like 3 visual clips. Sorry, okay.
You know why? She, oh, she's panicking over the Dodge thing. So I bet you if I pull the egg, it's gonna show she popped it, but I'll do it. No, I didn't. I stopped on the cliff. I know. I'll check though, cause I'll check. Yeah. No. Oh. That'll actually reinforce if there's one today. I'll let you know. Okay, all right, fine. Sorry. Another day. All right,
They always seem to be.
yeah.
It was like 10 hours after the vaccine announcement when people were screaming at me for my plan.
All right, what are you thinking?
Going over your proposal for 14 and our proposal for 14. I like ours completely as written, and I'm definitely not willing to accept item G or your item F for quite a few reasons, but one of them is the phrase "if a stipend is offered." I don't believe there will be stipends offered if it is optional like that.
That's not true.
Well,
here's my only concern, and that's fine. I think we'll end up all just stepping away from this item because we're not going to give on the other. But just a little bit of data for you guys to know. 4,790 teachers took some kind of training and got paid for it. And that's great. That's almost every teacher in the district. 57 of them took 20 to 29 hours. Decent number. I mean, not a high number, but 30 hours or more, 589. And then when you go to 40 or more, you're talking 40, 50, 60, 70 hours of training, 800 teachers did that. And so I'm just going to share one story, interact with the teacher. Hey, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm going to a training. What training is that? You know what? I don't know. I'm just taking a training for the extra cash in the summer. And so by some teachers, the PD is used as an extra funding source, which I know is not your intention and not our intention, but to the tune of $3 million now we're spending on PD. So we're going to end up, and I started at the beginning of this saying, we're going to end up offering less PD because we can't afford, everybody would get a 0.5% raise if we weren't doing that. And it limits what we can offer, and it's not something we can continue. So now we're going to have to offer less training, not being able to get the trade or the pay. I get your stance, but you can't deny that 20 hours to 30 hours, that makes sense, maybe even a little bit more. But when you're taking 60 hours a year, there's no way you're going to training that you should know what you're going to and signing up for it because you're excited about it, not because you need extra money. So that's all I'll say about it. I think we just step away from this article then.
I actually do have a couple of other points real quick. Where is the third trade day, our item F? Traded over the course of the year will be available. Will sunset after June 30th of 2027. Where is the cost to that on to Pinellas County Schools? What does it cost to go back to the third trade day, which we used to have?
I didn't say there was a cost to that.
Then why can't we include it if it doesn't cost? And it gives our people a little more flexibility.
You're not giving me any flexibility on my training. I'm not going to sell something that we took so long to get out of the contract. That's going to be hard for me to sell principles when I say nothing else in this. I mean, this is give and take. I'm not giving on that one when there's nothing coming back. I'm just going to be really honest, Lee.
So it costs nothing.
Lee, the principals do not like that. We were looking for a win with y'all on balancing this whole thing because it's gotten out of hand. If there's no balance, I'm not going to upset principals by giving a third trade day and tying their hands on that when we still are facing the same dilemma we had before.
So no cost. And it's still a no.
Right.
Item H of our proposal. It's already being done. I don't understand why it cannot be included in the contract. And again, it is no cost. It's something that's already being done.
And actually, we already agreed we do that. So I'm fine on that. I'm not going on I, so that's not happening. We'll do H and we'll change professional learning throughout.
I'm sorry, but I don't work for the principals. I work for the instructors, and everything I've been hearing is they want the third trade day. I've been doing my research. I've been doing my asking. I've been doing my communications. And something that doesn't cost you anything.
Lee,
But we're worried about it. We're not, you're interrupting me now. And we have been very, very easy to go along with all of the things that you've rejected. And you've rejected quite a bit over the course of our proposals. Now you're acting like I'm the obstructionist for something that's not going to cost anything because it would make the administrators upset.
Lee, it doesn't have a cost. It has an impact on how I run a school and when teachers are in my building and not in my building. I don't want to argue. I'm not saying you're the obstructionist. I never said that. You have been flexible and so have we. We've given on a lot of things, but I'm not going to give on this when you're tying my hands on the training, but you still want that. That's not how we're going to, resolve this. I'm not giving on the third trade day if you're going to hold my hands on the PD. There's more than just a cost. There's more to language than just a cost. Otherwise, a lot of the other things would have given in. I'm willing to go on H.
We did offer at one time to cap the training at 30 hours, and that was rejected.
Can't figure out a way how to keep track of that. It would be a nightmare of, did you take trade? Did you get paid? How many hours do you do? It would be impossible for us to track, and I'd have to hire somebody to track the time. We looked into it.
We're going to agree to disagree on this.
Yeah. Well, we're agreeing to H and professional learning.
Nothing. No, they already signed off on it.
Yeah.
It was all TA last.
Yeah, nine.
Mhm.
We talked about salaries.
I have a
Last time.
counter.
Hmm?
I have a counter when you're ready.
Oh, you have a count?
Mhm.
Last I heard your counter was 0.7. We asked for 3.5
That was your counter,
and,
and now I have a counter to your counter.
all right,
Are you ready for it now?
sure.
While that's going around, I'll kind of talk about what we're proposing. And then I'll highlight this as we go through so you can see what we're looking at. The page without color is 2 pages. Yeah.
Sorry.
Would have stapled if we were ready. We were changing things up to the last step.
I understand.
Okay, if you look at the first line, the total cost to the district, our proposal 0.7 is 0.78. That's a cost of 2.346852. With fringe, you see it's 2.879118. And you see the money that came from the state that had to go to salaries is right there below it. It's just a little bit lower. The difference is the first line in blue, 19,390. Then what we propose to do, even though the money from the state doesn't go to first year teachers, we want to give it to first year teachers. So you see that at $112,744. Is everybody with me?
Mhm.
Okay. Then the total district cost to get to 47,267. So what we're proposing is we try and get everybody to the minimum, but it's $466. We're proposing we do half of that, 233 to each for us, to get the base up. And then if you go down to the combined cost, you see it's 3,034,067. We listed the bereavement at 3.5, the certification renewal. But the other thing we want to do, if you look at this MOU, is we're proposing, if you look at number 1 on the first page, we authorize a distribution prior to the end of 25-26 school year and provides the amount of the referendum. We said we thought there would be more in that. We're going to gamble that we are there. And what we're proposing is 2 payments of $300, one before the winter holidays and one before the end of the year. So $600 to each teacher. And that cost is 4.563696. You see that as the first bullet. With everything on there, it looks to be about $1,000 in addition to each teacher. And that's a total compensation package of 11.9, basically.
All right, this is something we also need to discuss in length because this is a big change from where we were.
It does bring the minimum teacher percent up more around the minimum about 5.4%, but and obviously on the maximum closer to a 10% raise with these two things. So just the min and max sharing that.
Is that including the price or the referendum? Whenever you're saying that percentage?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has been a sticking point with me for a while. The referendum came from the voters of Pinellas County directly through the school board, but not from the school board.
Well, the school board initiates going after the referendum.
You're not providing the referendum money. The voters of Pinellas County are providing the referendum money. If we had put in the vote in the referendum as it was presented, if it had been stated that instead of the school board giving any raises, we're going to give the raises, I don't know if that would have passed. Right now, $11,081 of everyone's paychecks currently will come from the referendum money. That's about 1/5 of everyone's paychecks coming from the referendum. Now, I wasn't in charge years ago in the school board. You were not in charge years ago in the school board, but we have yet to reach and it was in the year 2000 that the governor signed the bill saying that the minimum pay would be $47,500. We have yet to reach that pay in Pinellas County 5 years later because we've been using the referendum as spackle to cover the hole of what we have not been paying the educators in our county. And that bothers me. It has been bothering me for a while. I understand that we have started to parse the referendum money from the salary money. When you look at the supplement, when you look at the pay scale. But I don't even know how many teachers know, much less how many taxpayers know that 5 years after the mandatory 47.5, we still haven't reached it. And that bothers me. I know money is difficult this year.
So I think we have 19 years of showing that we don't see the referendum as our raise, i.e. last year, the year before, we had referendum, we still came to the table with 3% and 4%. This year is different. You know that, and I know that. We're not trying to say we don't feel like there's going to be additional money outside the referendum for that said. We did look at bringing the minimum up to the 47.5 without the referendum this year, but it would give first year teachers more of a raise than your year 20, and that's why we didn't do it.
And we did the analysis on that too.
It was $7 more, and I thought that was insulting. So we did not come to the table with that as $25,000. It wasn't the money, it was the message it sent of value. So you can be incensed that we're not at the 47.5, but it was out of respect that we're not at the 47.5 because we could easily, you could tack that on right now and I would agree to that. That was part of what we were talking about right here and stepped outside because $7 is still $7. And if I've worked 20 years, I don't think your raise should be equal to mine. So we took that off and it literally is about $24,000. So it's not the money, but we don't in any way say, oh, we got the referendum, there's no money. This is the money that we have this year, and there are going to be high years and lower years, and this was just a lower year. And I don't think anybody doesn't relate to that in your own life. So none of this is out of disrespect. I feel like it has been collaborative until probably today, which we'll still get through. But you know, that we went at $4 million, and you have to remember, we haven't collected a single dollar of property taxes. We take out a TAN, a loan, to pay for all this money and hope that everybody's going to pay their taxes this year. We could have written an MOU that said we don't pay any of this until taxes come in November, and we don't. We go out. So you can't point the finger on some things and not the others. We take out a loan to pay teachers from July 1 on. So I just don't want the district to be painted as a bad guy. We're coming to the table with about $10 million. I look at him each time I try and push, but it is just the year that we are, but it's a good year to have that problem and that it went to a mill because we have a down year and the taxpayers did vote for it. But let me say, it was a lot of effort and the school board does initiate. It's not like it was all one-sided. That was a group. Everybody worked on that. Everybody, where there were speaking engagements, everybody worked on that. That's how it gets through. And I think everybody benefits from that. All employees, except administrators, we sent that message. So I don't want this to take a turn for the negative of what we brought to the table. I've pushed and pushed to get to where we are. And that $600 again is a decent amount of money to an employee. We try to get it at the right time. And again, it's gonna before we get, we're agreeing to it before we got any of the money. We don't even know exactly what's coming in. So I don't want to lose sight of that.
All right, we'd like a chance to caucus, please.
There's a right push sign.
That is. Yeah. Haven't popped over. I'll be happy.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Okay, well, they can hear you, just can't see you yet. Why is this being a pain?
Spinning some top 40 hits with you. I'm gonna WKRP.
In Cincinnati.
Oh,
These the new computers.
no, these are new computers. It could,
There it goes.
it's really hard. That one's not on
I
yet.
know.
It's hard between the right and the left
There it's going.
on here.
The right and left never. I'm over.
There it is.
Well, okay.
Yeah, the middle is kind of.
That's right.
Biggest one.
No, I know. I'm gonna hold this the next one. This is the newest one. Oh, they have extra copies. Do you guys have extra copies of those? I think we had 15 copies.
I already wrote on mine.
Were there any other extras? Oh, no worries.
I did not write on my own.
It's okay. Yeah, okay.
All right,
We'll share.
we'll share.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a few questions and points we'd like to go through. I'm gonna start with my buddy Dan Parasso over here.
Yeah, I've got a point of inquiry here on the bereavement total. Budgeted at 3.5 million. And when I kind of calculated this out, based on the number of employees that could possibly utilize this, and I'm assuming we're staying still at the 1 day of bereavement.
Yes.
That's correct. I'm getting a number of $575 per individual person. And that also has an assumption that every single teacher in the county would use the bereavement, which I'm not sure if that's the numbers you all are using.
Yeah, Dina
It did.
calculated that.
It's the numbers and it includes the cost of the sub. And so, yes, you're right. It does take into effect if every single person used it. We don't know if they will or we don't, but it's the maximum cost that it could be for the teacher and the substitute. Because if a teacher's out, they have to have a substitute.
And is that part of the teacher's salary?
Well, if we're
Sub.
paying for the day of bereavement, we also have to pay for the day of the sub.
So the indirect cost is the fact that you're not using a day. The direct cost is that we're paying for the sub. So when you retire, you have an extra day that you typically wouldn't have because you would have used it. So we're paying for that. So we actually pay for the day and the sub, right? Is that how you calculate it?
I've just divided it by the number of teachers and assuming, well, I assume that you all calculated that every single teacher is going to lose a spouse or a child or a parent. in
We
that year.
calculated on worst case
Mhm.
of, because we don't know how many, and that would be an interesting thing to see this year. We talked to other districts and stuff, and it was quite a range, so
Is there an actuarial like chart that we can use that?
No, we
has
won't.
them?
But we can this coming year, because we don't have anything now that would tell us how many that we have. We only have the ones that utilized it from the sick leave bank, and they would have had to exhaust all their time. So we don't really have a good starting point until this year. But this will be the year that, because it's all gonna come through HR, we'll be able to calculate that. And we actually just put together a system so that way we can do a tracking.
And assuming that actual cost came in substantially less.
We don't know.
What would occur to the funds that were budgeted for that?
We don't know, because we haven't been able, we don't have that. Right now, if somebody has a death in the family, they would claim it as sick or personal, so we have no way of knowing that.
I see what you're saying is you think we set that money aside in case
Oh.
everyone did.
No,
I mean. Gary,
We have not budgeted 3,568,000.
we're going out on the limb
anticipation.
there.
There's not a money where that's set
Set,
aside
right.
for that anticipated cost. This is just a estimate of what it could be, what it could cost the district, because you asked it to be costed out, so that it was costed out. There's no reserve for that.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, and that wouldn't take effect for a year, so budgeting would happen. You know, this year for next year.
based on the numbers that we would collect.
And you're right, when we're sitting around the table next year, we would know what it cost us. You know, we'll be able to better look at some of the. Well, a year from then, actually, we'll know next year what it cost us.
Thank you, sir. Tracy, you have a point?
Yeah, I just have a really quick question also. The extra $300 payments that you mentioned, last week we had talked about them. And if I'm remembering correctly, the payments are from the referendum. And last week you said that we would get these possible excess payments. If the excess is more than $300, we would still get the extra over the 300, correct?
Well, we wrote it at 300 because we really think that's a stretch. We were at 500. That we think is about where we're gonna be, so we are not expecting an overage from that. We went on the highest point so that we could come forward with that.
Okay, so you're expecting that it would not exceed the $300.
We
that
started
would
at
be less.
2, and then we went to 250, and we were really pushing each other and met today for hours about it and pushed Gary to.
And then if
Three.
there is anything that is left to be expended at the end that rolls forward to next year, the independent committee make sure that we spend the funds on teacher and support personnel for the instructions, and it will get there. We just can't put something forward now that we can't absolutely live by.
But you're right, it would go into salaries if there was anything left. But we did a lot of calculations today, trying to figure out where number of employees, the cost of this. We really tried to get as close as we could, and stretched Gary to that number.
Feel like you've been put on the rack this year?
He said if
And,
we went
it's been
higher,
something.
it would be irresponsible of us. His word, not my word.
I did
So
say.
just recall the current MOU that was signed and approved by the group in April, went to the school board April 22nd and was approved. That anticipated that at the end of March, when all the taxes are due and payable, we'd be able to evaluate whether they went up or down and then make that rollover for the next year's salary. When this started in 2004 at a 0.5 mil, for the teachers only, it was $2,600, right? So we anticipate this going forward and increasing, but again, last year was a very volatile year. And that's why when the amount of 41, whatever that was, 4114, when that was estimated as what would be paid through salaries this year, was trying to be conservative. But the agreement is that at the end of the year, that adjustment would occur. So this proposal is, let's project and see how much can be distributed early, which would help employees in this very slim year that we have. 0.7 is all the legislature has provided for salary increases. So this is a risk. as it was a risk even arriving at the 4,100, but the idea is to get the money out sooner than we had originally agreed to.
Yeah.
All right, Jen, point to me.
Yes, I'm just, if and when we come to an agreement on this, I'm just looking at the formatting of the money here. We have to present it to our bargaining unit as always. And it's always difficult for us to explain how these numbers work, with the laws. Been on bargaining a long time and it's always difficult to work out, but this year, especially with the referendum wrapped in here. So I would just like to see the referendum either slid over to the side so that we can show where the salary increase is a little bit better. I know it's in red, but more than likely it'll just all be lacking when we push these out. So that it's easier for us to explain numbers to our members when we get to that point. So if we could just look at pushing the referendum either to the left or to the right, and then keeping the salary increase in the levels, it makes it easier for everyone to be able to read through. It's complicated. We've done these a lot and it always makes it difficult to explain and people don't understand the laws that wrap around here. So I just like to make it as easy as possible for us to explain what's on the table.
Yeah, Carly and, whoever you pick from your side can sit down and we can.
Yeah,
work
just
through
the
that to
format.
Make it easy as.
Paula can just,
That's fine.
to make it as easy as possible for everyone to be able to read and understand. Sorry, Paula.
You threw me under the bus.
And speaking of Paula,
I don't know, and if my figures are wrong, please let me know. So last year, teachers were hired at 54,000. They received 4114 from the referendum. If I was a first year teacher and I was not highly effective or effective, I would get nothing. Now tomorrow, if this goes through and this is ratified, then when a new teacher gets hired, I will be making $234 less than somebody who just walked in off the street. Are my numbers correct?
I think Carly, what she's asking for is, would we raise those that are not at 47.5 to the 234 more, even if they didn't have an evaluation? Is that what you're asking?
Well, basically, yeah, because those people who came in last year and if they didn't get effective or highly effective, then they will actually be making less than somebody who walks in fresh out of college.
Are you
And they've
saying they
already
had
had-
a needs improvement evaluation?
No, because it's effective, highly effective, and what is
Needs improvement and unsatisfactory.
so satisfactory. If they were a satisfactory teacher, they survived
That's
that first
effective.
year.
They're effective,
That is effective. Satisfactory is
is
effective.
effective.
So
And,
then the only ones who don't are the needs improvement teachers.
Correct.
right. Yes,
So they would still be making less than
no,
with a year experience than somebody walking right in the door.
we would give the 234 to anybody that was at the base to get them closer. And then those brand new teachers this year, we would put the 234 on the base and move that starting to get closer to the 47.5. So that's what we've done all along is anytime that we've put money on that base, we've applied the raise. And if it doesn't get them to the 47.5, we applied whatever was set, the difference that was set up so that those folks could get to that.
So the answer is no, you would not be making less money because it would be applied to you as well.
Okay, so basically, first, if in that case, they would be making the same with a year's experience.
If they had a year experience and they were evaluated, they're going
They
to
would have
get,
had an evaluation.
there's so few people, if any, that have the needs improvement.
Okay,
Do you have this one?
yes.
That might clarify a little bit different. I agree. One formatting on everything would be a great way to go. Let's go to that blue section,
Okay,
middle. I think that's the group you're talking about, and you might have lost me, so that's that second line for the blue, so that 19,390, that was the difference. That's what we have to do based on the TSIA, right? But then we're saying, we're gonna go ahead and apply that to that person who is 1 year in, who had an evaluation, who doesn't qualify for the TSIA, because that's people who have 2 or more years per the way it's written in statute, right? So I think that group's gonna go up because we're gonna apply that in there out of our funds.
They're getting the 0.78% there, that first year group without.
Okay.
Is that,
It,
Yeah.
it'll probably take a while for
I get
the
it.
math
Understand.
to math itself out.
Yeah.
But it makes sense what you're saying, that they would not be making.
the state
better
says you
than-
gotta have 2 full years in order to qualify for that, like,
Mm.
but. Anybody. Work. So different from someone coming in who hadn't had valuation, who was econ year 0.
Okay.
I know it's been a difficult year, money wise, I do. That's why we brought a lot of things to the table to make working conditions better. It did not cost a lot of money. And we brought some things that did cost a lot of money. But we thought that those were quality of life things that our employees would deserve, and in a better year, maybe we would be able to afford them. Some of the things. And you brought it up just a minute ago. State of Florida gave 0.7% for a raise. 0.7%. As has been stated many times, don't tell me what you value, show me your budget, and I'll tell you what you value. And right now, the state of Florida does not value its educators, at least with their budget. 0.7% is insulting to every educator in this state. It should not be tolerated by any teacher, any family member, any friend of public education. That is not the way to do things. 50th in the nation in average teacher pay 2 years in a row is insulting. And I know you feel it too. I do. But as I look at this and I go through these numbers and I've talked to people, and I have been doing a lot of talking. I have been doing a lot of texting, which I hate. If I were to try to bring before the members of our unit, and those are the ones I talk to, there is zero support for any raise that starts with a point. I have yet to talk to any teacher out there that would say, I will take a point.
Well, it's
0.7,
really
0.78.
It's 1.16 with the $600.
You brought before me, you said 0.78.
That's a 0.78 flat plus 2 $300 payments in addition to the 0.78, which makes it 1.16. Carly?
1.3.
1.13.
That is referendum money. It's not coming from Pinellas County Schools. And what you're bringing, you have to bring from Pinellas County Schools.
That is coming from
0.78. 0.78. Anything that starts with a point. I have yet to talk to a member, and I've said it just a second ago. I have yet to talk to any member that will say, yes, 0.78. I will ratify that. I will vote for that. None. And at this point in time, unless we can come up with some better number, I don't have anything else I can do. I can't bring anything with my name on it that people are not going to support. Because I'm trying to come up with the absolute best contract I can for everybody in our bargaining unit. And 0.78 is not going to ratify, in my opinion. Your opinion, it might. I don't know. But right now I cannot support the numbers that are put in front of us.
But Lee, by your own admission, you said the state gave us 0.7. We're offering 0.78 and we're going out on a limb to offer. You can say it's referendum. It's not referendum until after November. I told you, we're taking out a loan to pay this money. And if it doesn't come in, we're having to find that. It's a 1.13. It's bereavement. It's a lot of other language. It's not just the raise. But you know, the hard part is we started the raise July 1st. If we had waited until the tax rolls came in and we didn't start doing raises until November, everybody would feel like, wow, I'm getting a 10% raise. But because they've already gotten that money, now it's just, now this is looked at separately, and it just cannot be. It is all one bucket of money in the district to fund things.
Trim notices haven't even gone out yet. So taxpayers aren't even paying that money, and the district won't see it until the spring. Money isn't due until the end of March. So it is district money because we borrowed to pay that. And as Mrs. Woodford said, if we would have waited, it would have been, you would have looked at it as a much bigger raise. But right now, this is district money, and it is a risk because we don't know what's going to be collected.
And on some years, it has gone down over the history of the 20 years. Fortunately, that's been few and far between. But I will state again, if it starts with a point, I do not see our members ratifying the contract.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the words my CFO used. To offer anything more than we are would be,
Irresponsible.
then we're facing not having money to pay bills. It is a year at that point. And I mean, we can schedule another meeting and we can sit, but I'm not gonna be irresponsible with the district's funding. I've pushed as far as I can push. And when he gets to the point where he says, I'm going to be irresponsible if I try and do more, I know I'm at the limit. But I still think it's a lot more. We knew it was gonna be lean when we walked in here. It is 1.13. You can say it's separate, but that's like saying my money market's different than my checking, or my savings is different than my checking. There's money coming into the district and 70% of it is referendum dollars. It's money generated in this community. For 20 years, the community said we support education. To say that's something different. And I'm just gonna say one more time, this board and this district made the proposal to say how we would spend it. It could have been spent a lot. We value teachers clearly. When you look at the percent of referendum coming in and where that money goes. So to say we feel any differently is really unfair versus what we've done, because we could have proposed a lot of different ways to spend that. So could you. We value teachers. And so, you know, it is what it is. We'd schedule another meeting, but I'm not hiding funds. I am pushing as far as I can, and the $600 we felt like was showing that. But if you look on our next board meeting, is the TAN the next board meeting?
What?
Our TAN? Our loan?
Yeah, it'll be in October.
October. You'll see the loan we take out to pay all of this. So you can look on the agenda item and see the loan that we're taking out to fund all of this, because that's what we're doing. Taking out a loan to pay raises, to pay referendum that, as Lori Dart just said, doesn't come until March.
The minimum increase is 5.48. So that's what you should focus on, 5.48, not 0.7, not 1.13. The fact that it's already been offered and agreed to is what is skewing this conversation. I think the board understood that finances were going to be slim in upcoming years, and that's why the school board worked with all community partners, but it was the school board that put that proposal to the county for the referendum. And that was a $60 million gamble, going for 0.5 mil to 1 mil. That was a huge gamble. Fortunately, everybody got together and it passed, but that was a gamble, and it was the school board that did that.
And I think it's just to go back to it. When you talk about the state giving a 0.7% increase, that's the total increase that the district has for all of its expenditures. Right. So we are subject to the same CPI increases that you are. We're subject to the same just the same constraints that everybody else is. We're not immune from it, and we don't have a different bucket of places to buy supplies or infrastructure items than you do for your house. And so there's simply no way that if the state gives us 0.7%, that there's extra funds. There's no savings account. There's no extra funds for anything beyond that to come from. We're really looking forward to hearing your ideas.
Right now, I can't support it 0.7, and it's not my job to find money. It's my job to represent. It's not my job to find money. That's not anywhere near my job description. And I do not want your job.
But Lee, I think it's also your job to make sure that together we're being responsible and understanding the state of the finances, and asking us to do something that we can't do. It is really leaving us at a bad position. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in here who would tell me to spend money I don't have. And when the state gave 0.7, I'm not sure where you think I can come up with millions of dollars. Every bit of the money that the state gave us, we've offered to teachers. So we're gonna have to figure out where we find the money for FOP and SEIU and PESPA and everybody else. We're gonna have to find where we're gonna come up with that money, because every bit that the state gave us and then some is on the table right here.
I can't support a 0.7. I just can't.
But again, Lee,
I-
you're focusing on the 0.7 instead of focusing on the minimum raise of 5.48. You could sell that to your members instead of focusing on 0.7.
My members are not gonna support a 0.7.
That's because you're selling it as a 0.7. This district has already put on the table the 5.48% for this year. That's a minimum.
That's not district money. That is.
Right now it
county
is
taxpayer
district money
But
because
it's
it
always,
hasn't been
it's
collected.
always district money. It's part of our general operating. And the FEFP is 2/3 funded by local citizens, the same as the local referendum.
Well, and I am going to say it's district money because we haven't collected a penny of that. That is 100% district money that we're putting on the table. That is not referendum. We don't get that again till March. So you could say that next year for last year, but you can't say that now. So, all right.
We'll schedule another meeting.
We had next week, yeah, March, you wanna hold that up?
Not next week. We got way too much on our plate.
You wanna try to set a date now before you go?
No, yeah.
Don't forget all that.
I know.
I'm gonna-
I'm gonna come in the morning.
Yeah.